And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Man, smartphones are everywhere these days, folks. I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Smartphone Inc. This is a Euro-style game where you will be marketing, buying, and selling smartphones. I am thrilled about this theme. There's a lot of buying and trading and selling games, and in fact, someone when we were done with this game said it didn't have to be about smartphones, it could have been about anything. Sure, but does everything have to be about 17th century selling spices? This is the same thing, but selling phones, and I like that idea. I think the artwork's cool, and this game just has a really cool presentation. It was a game that really wasn't on my radar. I had never heard of Cosmodrome Games before, but once I saw the game light out, I was very intrigued by it. And then I played it. It is an economic game, a buying and selling game, but also can be kind of a cutthroat, vicious game. I guess just like actual smartphone companies are with each other. Here's how it plays. The goal of this game is to get the most points and basically make the most money. Each player is going to start with a certain number depending on what color you pick, and you can see it goes all the way up to 500 points that you'll be keeping track of on this scoreboard. Each player is going to get a tray, and in that tray you're going to have some different cubes and things. You're also going to get 2 boards. Each player gets the exact same 2 boards. However, you have your own little small double board that matches your company, so this is the one for the yellow player. The game is going to take place over 5 turns. Each turn has 8 phases. In phase 1, each player will be behind a shield. They're going to take these 2 boards and they're going to manipulate them, covering up one board with the other, at least one square, although you can cover up the 4 squares. That's going to pick the actions that you are going to do on the following turns. So maybe I want to do this. That doesn't seem like a very useful thing. Maybe this would be better. So let's say maybe, for example, this is what I'm going to do. You can also use your double board and put it on top and cover up and add more icons to what you have. So that's the first phase. The second phase is everyone's going to adjust their prices. So as you look at your boards, sometimes your price is going to go up 1 and sometimes it's going to go down 1. So everyone's going to adjust their price on the board over here. It's a base price of 5, but it might go higher all the way up to 8, and it might go all the way down to 2. Then players are going to produce goods. For each black square that a player has, they'll produce a good, and then for each thing that they are covering, you'll produce 1. So if I cover the boards like this, I'm going to produce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so when that happens, I'll take this and I'll move 6 cubes in here to show that this turn I have produced 6 cell phones, or 6 million cell phones. I'm not sure how many it is. Then players are going to take new tiles over here. Players are going to get one of these tiles. As long as you can see this in front of a player, they'll get to do these. And the turn order, as for many of these things, turn order is going to start with the person who has the lowest price phone and go up. So players will get new ones of these, which you can use to put on your boards, or you can flip them over each turn and it will just basically give you another good when you're getting the goods that come around. And so you're going to be able to pick something that will help you and give you more symbols of what you want. If you don't put one of these on your board, you simply get one of these tokens, which just means you're going to get an extra goods container each turn. Then technology. Players are going to count the number of technology symbols that are available on their thing, and they're going to take these little staircase tokens equal to the number that they've gotten. And they're going to put them on the bottom of the board in these different technology areas. Each technology has a certain cost to the technology. So say, for example, I want better battery life here. So as I look at this better battery life, I need to put 4 of these in it to research it. So if I put 3 here, I'll just leave them. Maybe next turn I have 2 more, so I'll put 1 over on another technology, and I'll put 1 here to finish this one. Once I finish it, I'll mark it so that I know that it's my technology, and the first person to finish it gets the patent. This is going to be worth points at the end of the game. It also makes it cheaper for everybody else who is researching it. When you research a technology, it's going to allow you to sell phones to people who want it, but it's also going to give you a special ability. There are different technologies that are available. You can even switch them from game to game. Like, for example, once I have this technology, when I put these extra tiles on my board, I can actually leave them hanging off the board, which gives me opportunity to put more out. Or this one here, I can sell 3 of my goods cubes each turn without putting them in a region. While the other side says I can add an extra price marker to my thing, and in later rounds it gives me an extra, my phones are going to be cost more, be worth more. After players have done technology, the next spot here is going to be expansion. And when you expand, everyone's going to start on the board in a certain spot. So you can see green starts here in North Africa, the yellow starts here in India. And so if I want to go to another spot, I just follow these paths, and I need 2 truck symbols, and then I can build over here. And you're just going to be building and expanding, and anywhere you're at, you'll be able to sell cell phones. Speaking of that, that's the next thing, and this is really the meat of the game. You're going to sell cell phones. So remember earlier, I produced a whole pile of cubes? Well, now let's say I'm in India and the Emirates, I can sell those. Let's say my price, I put my price down to 4. So I look at these 2 spots on the board where I can sell them. This person will buy a phone for up to 6, so they'll buy a phone. This person will buy a phone up for up to 3. I can't sell to them because I said my price is 4, but I can sell a phone to this person and to this person. And then if you remember, I got the extra battery life technology, but no one here wants it. But let's say I had also gotten the 4G technology, then I could sell a phone to this person and to this person. Phones I don't sell aren't going to get me anything. And then players are going to get money equal to the number of cubes that they were able to sell times how much you sold them for. So I sold mine for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 4, I'm going to get 20 points. Also, if you have the majority of cubes in a spot, you're going to get points equal to whatever number is shown up here. So the more people that are in a region, the more points majority is going to be worth. Here, majority is going to be worth 2, no matter which color has the most in it. And when you get it to some of these, second place will also get points for having a majority. When this is finished, you'll reset a bunch of things and go to the next round. After 5 rounds, whoever has the most points is going to get this money. Whoever has the most money is going to win the game. Don't forget, you're going to be adding these patents at the end of the game. And then also, if you're playing with less than 5 players, then some of these spots you're not going to be able to sell phones in. Retail strips will be placed on the board instead, and players will be able to put tokens in these. You won't be able to sell phones there, but you simply, when you expand here, it will give you an immediate special ability and give you more points at the end of the game. That's how you play. So obviously the really neat thing about this board is there are holes in the board to put things in, and that's really, I just like that. Everyone likes that as they come across. Although, oddly enough, the round, it looks like these should have holes, but they don't. I would imagine that's just a mistake that the printer made, but it's not that big of a deal. But man, it's really neat. These trays themselves are really cool. I especially like how you can move these in. Now, when you store these trays, you simply just take these and put them in, and then you're going to snap a lid on top. Now, it's pretty cheap plastic. Don't get me wrong, it's not like this is great, but when I turn it upside down and everything, as long as I keep these here in this spot, there's not too much movement around. Everything is a translucent plastic, which looks cool on the board. Their edges are a little sharp, especially in the cubes, and they're not always easy to tell apart which one's which, but it doesn't really matter. You're just using them for different places. The boards are good quality. The symbols are pretty easy to understand. And honestly, there's not a lot of special abilities and things that you need to understand. Each of the technologies has its own special thing, but players will figure it out pretty quickly what they do. And there's, I mean, the whole thing just has a really cool look. Also, I should mention that the shields, which they're not very big shields, but first of all, they have cool artwork. The shields are neat. You only use them when you're putting your boards together. That's it. Then you put your shield down. But I think it's hilarious that they included multiplication charts on them. First of all, if you're selling 17 cubes and you're selling 17 cubes for 7, you've won the game. You don't need to count up your stuff. You're not going to usually sell that many cubes. I think the most I've seen anyone sell so far was like 12 on a turn. And I'm pretty sure I can multiply 12 by any of these numbers. But I thought that was amusing. And I do think it's neat that each color has its own specific start, which, like for example, Atlantis is going to be able to ship things and sell for a higher price more easily. I am very impressed by this game. This is a really fun game. For me, a lot of the fun of the game is simply coming from this. This is a fascinating thing. Now, it's not completely new to this game. We've seen things like this in games like Patchwork and stuff, but this does a really good job at how am I going to put these tiles together. I want a lot of technology, so I want to make sure these purple tiles are here, but I want to cover up as many tiles as I can so I can get a lot of things to sell. I want to make sure this factory tile is there so I can get more of those other tiles, which gives me more shapes and more things I can do, but I need the truck so I can expand, and also this makes my price go too high, so that's neat. Now, it doesn't take too long, and once you're done with this, the rest of it's pretty easy. You know, you're like, okay, I'm going to do technologies, I want that one. I'm going to expand, I'm going to go here. But it's really intriguing. And then the buying and selling as you're moving out in markets, once you start crossing other people, then having a lower price is definitely better because you'll be able to sell your cell phones first and maybe more than the other person does, but they'll get a better price for theirs. Having a technology no one else does means you can sell phones in areas that people can't. And the technologies themselves give you benefits. If there's a technology that makes the other technologies cost one less, that's obviously the best one to do first, right? Maybe, but if everyone else is going for the technology too, maybe it's best to get a technology no one else has. The game does not overstay its welcome. It says here in the box 90 minutes. That seems very accurate. And I like these buying and selling. There's no luck in this game. Well, I shouldn't say there's no luck. I guess the order that the tiles come up in is a little lucky. But other than that, that's it. And as I said at the beginning here, I'm kind of keen on this theme. I like having a theme that's different, that feels modern and interesting. Smartphones are big business. This game doesn't use one. Maybe people will be thrown off by that. But the pieces look cool, the recessed board. But forgetting all that, this mechanism here is one that I just have so much fun with. I mean, it's not even that there's that many combinations, I guess, as you put these down, but there's enough. And it's not so complex where I'm like, I must try every possible combination. I'm like, no, I need technology. Okay, there's 2 on this side, and there's 1 on this side. Now I want that truck. And that's probably the longest part of the game is figuring that out. But it's fun and interesting once everyone's ready to go. The rest of the going through the different stages of the game goes through very well. And that sell your prices for low, but sell more or sell higher and fewer. You kind of balancing that out. It feels meaty without being too heady. And there's a lot of competition. And I actually like playing with less than 5 players because I like those retail stores because it's another way to get points. Just a great game all around. I was very, very pleased to play Smartphone Inc. Dice Tower Judgment, excellent.